Hi everybody, this is Hero, and I'm going to do a talent tree review for the Priest's talents, specifically Disc Priest in this video for Dragonflight. And I want to keep this video relatively brief, but just give you my overall thoughts. I'm not going to go through every single build idea I have in my mind, but I just want to talk to you about the overall talent trees as they're being presented. These are subject to change. Let's get into it. First thing I want to talk about is why I think this represents one of the most significant moments of pruning in all of WoW's history. If you take a look at what we have on offer, we are going to be getting two gigantic trees where we get 30 points on the spec side and 31 on the class side, and these are all available and you can swap them independently. Awesome stuff. This is like bringing you back to TBC, some of those cool moments, but it also includes, guys, many base abilities, including, for example, Penance, Power Word Radiance, Mending, Death, Renew, a lot of other things like Power Infusion, Mass Dispel, Holy Nova, Leap of Faith, Mind Control, Shadow Fiend. Many abilities. Shining Force, if you're looking at CC, a choice between Solace. This is everything. Schisms over here as well. These are all the abilities that are usually packed into the main kit or were available in the first couple of talent rows for your spec, and that currently exists in the game. Completely understandable, but just a big caveat. Your class is getting pruned in a massive way, and Blizzard is giving it back to you in the form of these two talent trees, which they intend to be the main thing going forward from Dragonflight onward. They're intended to be something that lasts and is stable, kind of like our current talent tree system where we have a stable number of rows and you have to select between them. They want a little bit more of a dynamic choice on the player base's side if you want to adjust and tune your build. I'm all for it. I think it's good, but I want players to be aware that you are losing a bunch of stuff and you have to gain it back by making choices on your own. Fine, there's some bloat in the class anyways. If you think about how Disc Priest plays, Mind Blast, Penance, Smite, Solace, Shadow Mend, Radiance, Shield, Power Word Shield. We have Barrier we have to use. We have healing spells, damage spells, mixing them all together. A lot of them are off on CDs that we have to track. That's a lot of stuff. Okay, the second thing I want to talk about is a little bit of build diversity that is showing up just generally across the trees. We have, for example, a greater emphasis on pulling together a lot of the Holy Priest kit. You can see in this top left-hand corner a lot of elements that are either within conduits or talent trees of just Holy Priests, and they're baked into even the discs kit here on the class side. That's kind of interesting. So Mending, for example, showing up. Renew as a piece to pick up and maybe make use of in any of the specs, and consummate talents to support those. Mending, this one I think is one of the better ones. Say your prayer mending has 6% chance to not consume a charge when it jumps to a new target. I think even though that's a bit of a passive effect, it incentivizes prayer of mending in the right sort of way. Casting it on CD, making sure you're trying to get as much value as you can, and it just is always working for you. That's cool. We've things like Renewed Faith, which is a talent. We have Benediction, which is a Holy Priest talent. We have Enlightenment, which is, again, a Holy Priest talent. That's just all showing up in this section. So that's, I think, pretty reasonable. And on build diversity side, if you look here on the Disc Priest side, we have access to a number of interesting ideas flowing just down the Shadow side, especially moving towards what we Twilight Corruption, and this one down here, Wickedness. So I'll just spec this out so that you can see what I'm talking about. Obviously, you wouldn't necessarily take all of these things, but just so you can see when we get to the bottom. Let's take Halo. So here we get a pretty clear path for dealing with shadow stuff. We have Schism, duration increased by 50%. This is actually, in my view, a good design. The number is correct. 50% is the kind of thing you would expect for picking up a talent that is so focused on an ability on a CD. Really good. Shadow Covenant, again, is getting modified. It's not so punishing. It doesn't lock you out entirely, but it decreases the power of some of your holy spells. Still, something kind of an interesting spell that probably deserves more support. Here it is, 4 seconds. This should easily be something like 10 seconds. I don't know. Something to really incentivize if you're going to tie all these things together. And then while Shadow Covenant is active, Penance becomes Dark Reprimand, so adjusting your Penance gameplay, also kind of cool. So we have no tuning numbers, guys, but we're just first responses to these things. Tying in a more thematic element to the shadow side of Disc is really cool. Here we have the same thing going forward. Wickedness and Twilight Empowerment being new additions. I shouldn't say new in terms of Twilight Empowerment because we have seen Shadow Word Death triggering Atonement as a legendary effect, but it's new in insofar as putting it all together in talent form. This is fine. I don't like that it's two units, so maybe this is supposed to be 20-40%. Maybe this is just supposed to be some other effect for Atonement when you plug in 2 points, but nevertheless, it's still some interactions that are cool. And Wickedness, I think, is a good nod to the shadow side of Disc Priest, giving some utility to Divine Star and to Halo, which, silencing or reducing the CD, good interactions. So in my view, of all of the abilities in all of these talents, Wickedness is the right approach and is a good talent. It gives me something that is modifying a base ability I've already grabbed, and it gives me choice within that. So if I want the utility side for Wicked Star and Silencing and Mythic Plus, awesome. If I want the CDR of Halo, because I know I can use it in a, in a battleground or some kind of a major raid moment where there's a lot of ads, cool. But guys, that build diversity element is also subject to a lot of painful interactions. What do I mean by that? Well, remember I said at the beginning we're getting a lot of things taken away and given back to us in the form of talents? Some of it is not great. Look at this bottom portion. If you're going to the bottom of your talent tree in live or as your expectation in Dragonflight, you're hoping for things that are really strong, that are signature abilities, that are really modifying things, like we see over here on the spec side. Charitable Soul, 2 talent points. Casting Shield on an ally also shields you for 10% of the amount for 10 seconds. So this is a conduit right now in the game, and it's kind of mediocre. We're sinking 2 points in. Okay, maybe it's all right. We get access to Light's Inspiration. Maybe that'll be good. Death Repair heals you for an additional 10% of your max health over 5 seconds. Another conduit at 2 points, 5-10. And it's not like you can put 1 in, but you get locked out of the final piece. You have to put 2 to get to the bottom. So, I mean, a hot on your personal defensive ability, I don't know, guys. Not that great, not that powerful, not that inspiring. Crystalline Reflection, maybe this will be really awesome and chunky. It's just that legendary effect for Disc Priest that gives your Power Word Shield a tiny little heal at the front. We saw this even way back to when we Power Word Shield spammed. I think it was in Cataclysm, and you would get a little bump with one of the talents for your shield, and it reflects 20% of the damage absorbed. Awesome, right? Not really, unless you're trying to spam out shields, which I've tried in Mythic Plus, and it's mediocre. The gameplay's a little tedious, and if shields are ever so good that you're spamming them all the time and it makes this valuable, the gameplay has kind of rotted away for Disc Priest. So a little concerning there. This stuff is at the final portions of your spec tree. You would expect, guys, that this should be really strong stuff. Makes me nervous. Here on the kind of more toward the holy side, Renew heals for an additional 5% of its mana cost, and its mana cost is reduced by 10%. Complete garbage. Not because, if Renew's strong, great, but 5% as a talent? Guys, it's just not good. Unwavering Will, while above 75% health, the cast times of your Flash Heal, Prayer of Healing, and Smite are reduced by 10-20. Okay, this is kind of that legendary effect, the Flash concentration. It's a little portion of that. But again, 2 talent points to get the most value out of it. And if you're in a raid and you're getting chunked down, if your plan was to spam out healing or flash heals or, God forbid, prayer of healing, you're losing the value as soon as you sink below 75% health. So if you get hit, suddenly this is offline until you can get yourself back up. I don't know about that. And then Holy Word Life, perhaps the most interesting one of all of these pieces. So this is the payoff. I'll get back to what really we have to go into to get to this payoff. But think about this. Holy power, kind of like maybe it's a Serenity type heal. You hit it when your friends are below 20%. It does a massive heal on them. Awesome. If they are happen to be above 20%, you take a giant hit for whatever. Kind of a kiss curse. I don't mind this. Except for healers, guys. Think about all the scenarios and what could happen when this happens. Someone dips below 20% in a raid setting. There's 3 or 4 other healers who are instantly thinking about triage. What if the renew tick or the rejuvenation tick pops that person up? The whole raid's low, and you throw out Holy Word Life 1 GCD late. Bam! You suddenly die. What about Arena, PvP in 3s? Someone gets chunked really low. Prayer of Mending tick goes off just as you're hitting Holy Word Life, and bam, you're suddenly in critical condition. There's a lot of stuff we can talk about when it comes to this. Kind of concerning. I think Holy Word Life has some potential. It's at least interesting, but again, maybe a bit premature to do this kind of stuff. But here's the real problem. What do we have to get to gain access to that? And I've done the least I need to get there, but we have to pick up Holy Nova. And not only that, we pick up something called Cleric's Armaments. Smite deals 10% additional damage while you are shielded. Do you guys know how difficult it is to maintain shields in like a mythic raiding environment on yourself if you're ramping as Disc Priest, where you're actually using shield potentially? Maybe it's Rapture that you're using, so it's a strong enough shield on yourself. Suddenly, your smite's going to be 10% stronger, but as soon as that shield is absorbed or wears off, you have to reshield yourself to maintain that buff to smite. And if it's atonement, right, and we're tying it into smite damage as our main way to produce atonement effects, it's a big deal to suddenly lose out on 10% of the power just because you didn't shield yourself. Like, wait a minute, of course, you're going to get shields from shielding other people, charitable soul, all that kind of stuff, right? It's just not that effective. What about in Arena? Someone's just going to dispel your shields. Someone's going to just turn and, smack you. Maybe you can hide behind a wall, but wait, it's tied to smite. So you actually have to be casting smite to make use of this, all to gain access to these pieces, Holy Word Life. There's also Tools of the Cloth, which does the same thing for Holy Nova. But guys, look at what they've done with Holy Nova. First of all, looks like they've taken away Mindseer for the healing priests. Fine. But Holy Nova as an AoE button is garbage for a lot of reasons. One, if it's really good, it invalidates so much of your other kit. You can just press Holy Nova and sort of triage heal people or sort of throughput heal the entire raid if you like, because it's so powerful that it's doing that and it's doing damage. If you, on the atonement side for Disc Priest, they've made it so the first hit is the only one that counts because it would be way too overpowered in Mythic Plus to simply Radiance and press Holy Nova over and over again, because that would just atonement heal everybody given the target cap. And then they gave us what was before a built-in portion of Holy Nova, meant to prop it up to some degree and bring it into parity with Mindseer. Now it's an extra talent that you can get, the 50% effectiveness if you hit 3 targets. What is this, guys? What is this design? It's horrible. It's not good. Not good at all. This shows up in a lot of other places too, within the priest stuff. Look at, for example, Radiance over here. So we come and get a core piece for Disc Priest gameplay. We get an additional charge, good talent. I like it, right? Maybe you want Radiance, but you're not in a place where you're going to be using it all the time. This isn't going to be a main way you do it because you're doing Arena or something else. Fine. But then look, guys, Shining Radiance, increasing its healing throughput by 10 or 20%. Do they not realize, guys, we have used Radiance basically as a means of getting atonement out for a long time now. Since Legion, it's just been a Radiance, mend, burst healing, right? All of Nyalotha, all the way up through Sepulchre of the First Ones. That's what Radiance's use has been. Its healing has been negligible and embarrassing. So either we make Radiance an ability that is doing gigantic throughput to make this valuable, or we get rid of talents like this, guys, and we make something like improved radiance, the thing that's over here, so that you can get it as a bonus and make it really a good utility piece. And then we build in other talents that are actually significant. Why are we doing this to ourselves? This is painful. Blizz, please stop doing this. Contrition. Contrition, guys, is a talent in our tree that nobody takes, more or less. Maybe you do in PvP a little bit. I don't know, but I suspect not, right? And now it's a two-parter. So it used to be one bad talent. Now it's two bad talents. And I'm not sure how they mean to scale this. When you heal with penance, everyone with your atonement is healed for a small amount. You can't put that in a talent tree anymore. This is 2022, guys. You've got to dream a little bit. We got to move beyond these garbage ideas. Contrition, if you want, has to be a large amount. It has to be a significant amount, meaning that you are suddenly taking your penance choice and you are funneling it towards healing somebody. Because it takes time to get your atonements out. You have to radiance into mending spam or shield spam, where you have to double radiance to get everyone atoned. And then when you press penance, it's got to be powerful. It's got to be a significant effect. Because, guys, whenever you're going to use this in a raid, there's 3 or 4 other healers also doing throughput healing at the same time. So you have to account for the fact that this kind of healing will be overhealing. Here's what contrition should be. When you heal with penance, everyone with your atonement is shielded for a moderate amount. That's what it has to be. Dips into your mastery, right? Provides another kind of absorb that is not going to be interfering with overhealing. Makes it so that pressing penance on a target, a friendly target, means something, and the value of it has to be really solid. Because otherwise you could just use penance aggressively. It's not tied, by the way, to the throughput of penance. It's just tied to the fact that you would hit somebody with penance. So unless they want to do that and they say when damage dealt by penance or healing dealt by penance, when you heal a friendly target, also heals all targets with your atonement for the same amount or for half that amount, maybe. I'm not sure how it would have to be tuned, but it's not really tied to the power of the player. It's just tied to some spell power coefficient currently, and that doesn't seem to be reflected here. My point is, guys, like, why have they put into this talent tree things that people have not been using for a long time? I get it. Maybe they'll tune it so it's awesome, but it looks like that is not the direction when I see words or phrases like small amount. Purge the Wicked, they want this to be a talent down here. Fine. This one, Purge the Wicked, deals more damage and spreads to one additional target. I like this. This is okay, right? It adds gameplay around using your Shadow Word Pain that is somewhat significant. Castigation. Why? Fires 1 additional bolt of holy light over its duration. Guys, this is a talent way down here in the tree. Stop doing this. Like, it's competing in a way with Rapture or Swift Penitence. In fact, that's the thing. You'd have to skip a bunch of this stuff to even buff Penance by that much, because we have to go down here to get this. But there's not like significant payoff. The damage healing of your first bolt of penance is increased by 20%. This is a 2-point talent. Like, penance has to be doing so much damage to justify grabbing this, because otherwise it's just filler to get to Halo. And that's what I'm afraid of, guys. When I look at these trees, I don't think Blizzard is taking seriously what it means to make a talent tree in 2022. That's my concern. We have an opportunity in Dragonflight to set a bar for how talent trees can work. Exciting gameplay with interesting interactions. This stuff just looks like they copied and pasted stuff and took some of the worst talents that we currently have in Disc Priest, and then had a few kind of interesting brainstorming sessions for these. Look at, guys, lenience. That, 3% damage is awesome. Here it is buried way down here, right? And maybe because barrier doesn't seem to be tied to anything, we can just skip, exaltation again. Another, what is this, conduit? Rapture's duration. Oh, no, this is a legendary effect. Its power shield enhancement is increased by 7.5%, and its duration is 1 second. Like, come on, guys. Come on. This is, yes, we want TBC style stuff, but we got to go beyond this. If you're going to give power to playing with Rapture, pump it up. Let's go. Anyways, those are my initial thoughts on Disc Priest. I'm afraid that what we're getting is some interesting ideas coupled together with a lot of filler. And I don't think Dragonflight can afford to have filler like contrition, like improved Holy Nova. These are things that in the TBC era were easily solved when people realized, you know what, guys, there was no way this talent is worth it. I think I would just prefer that they go back to TBC style, give them these 3 trees, Holy Priest, Disc Priest, Shadow Priest, change them however they like, and allow the player their 70 points or whatever it is, and let them go for it. Let them have fun with a whole new TBC style experience of picking and choosing all along those, and just take away what was usually the barrier to entry for trying lots of different stuff, which was a gold charge for switching talents. Forget about that. Just give people their 70 points between all 3 trees. If you're gonna make trees like this, guys, just give it to them. Let them play with it. Put Shadow Fiend in the shadow stuff, and if you want access to it, you got to go for it. Make them, but instead of doing what TBC often did, which was give you a little bit of dead wood, make these things powerful. Purge the Wicked deals not 10 to 20% in spreads. Maybe this is like 25 to 50%. Then you have, like, you've gone all the way over here to grab it. Why is it garbage? Spirit Shell versus Evangelism. Why is Spirit Shell 80%? Why is that number even in the game? Stop doing this. Just make it for 10 seconds. These things create absorb shields instead of healing. And then tune it in the background if you want. Anyways, I know these are somewhat placeholders, but this makes me nervous, guys, for Disc Priest. I know there's options going forward and everything's going to be fine. And yeah, Light's Wrath is here from Legion. Booyah. But, come on. Atonements granted by Shadowman lasts another 2 seconds. Atonements granted by Powered Shield lasts an additional 2 seconds. This is your bottom row ability for Disc Priest. This is not exciting. It's not. Look at the difference between these. Light's Wrath. This amazing, overpowered, super cool Legion artifact boomer. Not feeling it, guys. Okay. Thanks for watching. We'll take a look at Holy Priest next time. Have a good one. Bye.